And then I want you, we're going to start right away because we got a lot. We're going to start picking up pace. So you should have this vocabulary journal. It should have ARC 3, 9 through 12. And it only has one page. We had oral tradition, collaborate, descendants, compare, contrast, and personification. Please turn that into Schoology. Yep. If you did not have these words, well, the assignment, so it should be under upcoming now. It has them in there so you can finish writing them in. And you can turn that in a little bit later then if you realize you don't have one. Okay, so we just have 6 words. We didn't do the other pages. We didn't need them. So just these words. Okay. So that is due today under Tuesday. And I see some of my things I accidentally put under Monday. There's a lot for Monday. We may not get to them all. So guys, just so you know, I have written in here, today we're going to read chapter 1, Thunder Rolling on the Mountain. So as you turn your vocabulary in, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do. We are going to read chapter 1. We're going to look at the characters and the conflict. And then we are going to explore a paragraph where it compares and contrasts things. Your homework today is to read for 30 minutes. And we have a new fluency today, okay? So if you look under Tuesday, there's a whole bunch of things under Tuesday. We might not get to them all because I'm going to try doing things a little bit quicker. But if it does not, if we don't get through it all, sometimes I will move it for the next day, if that makes sense. Harper, I think you had a question?
So for like a couple weeks ago, you had us watch the module 1 day 8 video, and that's where we read the first chapter, Thunder Rolling in the Mountains.
Beautiful.
So I read it and I did the notice and wonder about the conflict.
Perfect. So we are going to reread it because it was a while ago. And if you already have the notice and wonder, then you will have, we're not going to spend as much time on it. So yes, today we're going to go quickly through these things and we're going to spend more time on the compare and contrast, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm going to let you know what we're going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow you're going to start a new vocabulary. So let me just show you really quick. So that's why we're turning in our old vocabulary. This vocabulary tomorrow, I have the video linked right here. I'll probably put it here as well. And I'm going to you how to just put a new one. This journal or this vocabulary is going to be all of the Thunder Rolling on the Mountain book. Okay, so any of our vocabulary next is going to be in this vocabulary journal. Okay, so we only have one more left for our whole book. And you're going to learn about, I think, 3 words tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to get started. Please turn that in. Go ahead and, like I said, we're going to move fast because we've been making these routines, so hopefully we smooth these down. Class is going to take the whole time today.
You're a little bit
glitchy. Hopefully I fixed it. I turned off my screen. Yes, so class is going to be all day. If you don't have the book, ooh, good question. So hopefully you have the book. Senior Werzinger, I don't have the book. Then I want you to put this PDF in your Notability right now because it's going to take some time. So while we do the notice and wondering and we start before we read it, I have the very first link in Schoology is the PDF. It's just going to take a little bit more time to get through it. If you don't have the book, I would recommend calling the school and saying, I need to stop in and get Thunder Rolling on the Mountains because the book is so much easier, okay? And if you have a book, find a bookmark because that would be very helpful, okay? Sometimes we will get through 2 to 3 chapters a day. Sometimes we're going to do it together. Sometimes you're going to do it by yourself. Sometimes you're going to do it in mini groups. Okay. So if you don't have the book yet, please put this in Notability now because it's a large book, so it'll take some time. So by the time we start reading, you can see it, or you will be able to have it. Oh, and it's by the author of The Island of the Blue Dolphins. Oh, that makes me even happier. If you've not read that book, that is also an amazing book. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want you to look at the front. The first few pages of the book, if you do not have it, I will show you mine. So look at this front page. If you don't have the book, I'm going to, and it's not quite loaded up, show you on mine. So we've got the first couple pages, okay, that tells the authors and who wrote it. And we've got a foreword. You guys, I want you to look at something. This book has 2 authors. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But there were 2 separate authors that wrote this, okay, at kind of 2 different times. Let's see, the foreword. Thunder rolling in the mountains. Oh, and then there is a lovely map. Okay, so if you don't have the book, you can look on my screen. We've got a lovely map of, it's in Idaho and Montana. It says, we've got some titles, Route of the Nez Perce, and, there's a specific time. And I'm reading it backwards. June through October, 1877. So it might give you a hint of when this book might take place. And then it starts with chapter 1. Okay, so if you don't have the book, you can look at my picture a little bit more in detail. I wonder if I can find this online. This picture to bring it up. Take a moment, and I want you to think about what is some I notice and I wonder while I find that. Okay, I'm going to show you my screen again. That way you can look at the front. And when you think you've got something, an I notice or an I wonder, go ahead and start letting me know. What is some I notice and I wonder that you guys have about this book? You could just come on the bed and say, I notice or I wonder. Yes, Harper, what did you notice or wonder so far just by looking?
I noticed that she looks like she's in like a prairie of some sorts, so it must be like some part of the Nez Perce area, and that it's like a young girl, and it looks like they're running from or to something because the mane of the horse is like blowing.
Oh, very interesting. Those are some great notice to details. Anybody else? Is there something that you notice? Like I said, I noticed that there were 2 authors.
I noticed that the picture on the front cover is connected to the title because you can see that looks like there's storm clouds coming, and that's like the thunder, and then there's mountains, and then it sort of would connect.
Yeah. Anybody else? Notice or wonder? Yeah, Lucas.
I noticed that it's kind of like a cliff and then a mountain because it's not like slanted. It doesn't look like it's slanted. It looks like it's just like a straight wall and then it kind of slants.
Yeah, the trees. You can see that.
I also.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I also noticed that she's running in or she's on a horse in kind of like an open field.
Yeah. Anything else? Maybe if you have the picture of the map, or maybe your PDF has shown up, is there something that you notice with the map? Like I said, I noticed the titles, the route of the Nez Perce, and then we noticed when it probably takes place. Look at some of the titles so that we maybe have. We've got, looks like a bunch of battles. Battle of Clearwater, Battle of Whitebird Canyon, Big Hole, Battle with the Crows, Battle of Bear Paw. Ooh, a lot of them are based with Native American, or I would say based off of nature. We've got...
They're all like dates. There's dates by them.
There are dates by them. They've got even, I see Bear Paw Mountains. So or Yellowstone River, or Bitterroot Valley. Bitterroot is a type of herb. We've got Land of the Spirit Fountains. A lot of it is based off of some of that information that maybe if you think about the Nez Perce, a lot of it is connected with a lot of animals. So this is kind of just expanding on it. Awesome. So ladies and gentlemen, briefly, could someone tell me, why do you think it's important to notice and wonder when we begin a new book? What do you think? Why is it important to notice and wonder? Yeah, right?
It's important to notice and wonder because it will help you understand the book a little bit more. Like if you're confused on one part, maybe you could just notice and wonder maybe that page or the cover or something that would help you understand it better.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything they want to add on? I see some people raise their hand. Harper, Greta?
I think that it's good to notice and wonder because then you can see if it was right and kind of notice and wonder more things, and it can connect with the book.
Oh, Greta?
It's good to notice and wonder because if you notice and wonder before you read the book and you have a wonder the book, as you read, you can understand your wonder better and maybe add more notices and understand it better after you're done reading the text.
Oh, thank you. You guys, I do this actually every time I read a book with my niece, even kid books. And I just did this with my 6th graders. We're starting a new chapter tomorrow. And I said, let's just preview the chapter. We're not going to read it. Let's look at the different photos. Let's look at the titles. Let's look at some of the things that are here. And I'm going to have them make predictions. Well, what do you think this chapter is about? So yeah, it doesn't matter what book you have. Even I do it right now in school with my textbooks. And even with my niece, if she just even has a picture book, I have her make predictions and try to tell me, what do you think the story is about? And what you guys said, great points, because yeah, you're going to understand. Maybe you're going to be a little bit more prepared for it, is what I always think about it. And sometimes it's really good to make predictions and see if you're right. Ooh, we've got our first word. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you where to find it. It should be, it is not there. I did not mark it under today. Sorry, I was up really late last night working on a lot of these. So for Tuesday, oh, you know what? You know why it's not there? Because tomorrow I have you doing vocabulary. So I'm going to move it to today. And we're going to write this word down. Let me make this visible to you. Because I had it hidden. No, I don't want it that way. I had it hidden because you're going to do vocabulary tomorrow, and I forgot we were going to do one today. So let's see. Publish. So it should be under upcoming now. So if you go to Schoology, well, I see some of you guys are wondering. Should be under Schoology. I'll put it for under today. I'll just move it for tomorrow. Oh, it is under today. And it is called Vocabulary. Thunder rolling on.
Says it's for 219 and oh, never mind. That was a different thing.
Yep. So it should be under today, although it's not showing up on mine either. Oh, goodness. Explore content.
Day
Okay.
8.
I found it.
Same.
Is it? Yes. So you should click Day 8. Explore content vocabulary. I'm going to change it. I'm going to have it say vocabulary, thunder rolling on the mountains. Oh, goodness. Yeah, for some reason it's not where it's supposed to be. Oh, I see. Okay. I'm going to move it out of the folder too. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Whew. Okay, so it should say Day 8 Vocabulary Deep Dive or Thunder Rolling on the Mountains Vocabulary.
Yeah, I got that. Oh, is it? Are we supposed to send it to Notability?
Please send it to Notability.
Okay.
So it is Vocabulary Journal, Thunder Rolling on the Mountains Deep Dive Explore Content. And then I think you do need to click on it again. Oh, I had it so organized in my brain yesterday when I put everything together. But we're starting a brand new content. Okay, so I'm going to put it out, actually. So if you can't find it underneath, under upcoming, I have it. So I'm going to move this again. Thunder rolling on the mountains.
Should it be the one with that's where you can submit it, the deep dive one, or should it just be the vocabulary journal and you can't submit anything?
The vocabulary journal where you can't submit anything. Yep. I'm going to change it. I see what I've done now, so I'm going to rechange it.
I submitted it to Notability.
Okay. It is outside, you guys, of the folder if you need it. If that makes sense.
I found it.
Perfect.
I think it's down below every single one in the folder of Tuesday.
Yep. Now, if you reload it, it will be outside of the folder. And I hid the one you're going to do tomorrow with the video. Because you're going to open your vocabulary again. That's why I have it. So it is Vocabulary Journal M1, Thunder Rolling on the Mountains. Sorry for the confusion, ladies and gentlemen. I was up till 11 last night trying to get everything ready because we're starting a new unit in this class, and then in my other class, in every single class, I'm starting a brand new unit, and so I had to prepare stuff all weekend. Okay, it looks like, I have to export it too. Looks like this. I'm going to put it in my Notability. It's a little bit bigger file. So thank you for your patience. Ooh. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so let's write on here, on the first page, we're going to write Thunder Rolling on the Mountains with it. thunder rolling on the mountains. Okay, and I'm going to put my name on here. That way I know that it's mine. Okay, and I titled it here for you. I should have titled it in here, but I didn't think of doing that. I'll do it for
I believe it's thunder rolling in the mountains.
Yes, you're right, in the mountains. So I'm going to put this way up here. I'm going to put my name here. Okay, Werzinger. Okay. And, cultures in conflict. Hey, that's going to be our first word, conflict. Because we are going to explore conflict today within characters. So that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to hide the folders for the future because I would like to move faster, but if we cannot move faster, well, then I'm not going to make you do the work until we get to it. Okay? So, conflict is our word for today. And we are going to write. Actually, I should have just done it for tomorrow, but I didn't prepare it, so we're going to do it today. Our conflict means argument or fight between two opposing sides. And ladies and gentlemen, I do need you to be filling this out. You should not be taking a screenshot. I don't count it because that does not help you learn the words. Remember, my fun fact at the beginning of the year, you have to hear, see, write, and use a new word, I think 12 times in order to actually remember it or learn about it or to actually memorize it and know what it is. So this is one piece of that. You are writing it down. Okay, normally I would have you write it down on a piece of paper in school, but everything's digital. If you want to write it down in a notebook and then and use this section of your notebook and then take pictures and turn it in, I'm okay with that. I am very much for writing things down as opposed to typing it because actually there are studies that show that you writing the actual words help you memorize things better than actual typing. So that's the only little difficult. Okay, so I'm going to write a fight for a synonym or an argument for these things. Okay. Tomorrow we have a shorter lesson. Tomorrow you're going to read or watch a video deep diving on some vocabulary. And I believe it is something with the moon. If I remember correctly, I did watch it. So that's exciting. Moon, suns, and we're going to use see how it's connected to our story. Okay, so real quickly today, here we go. I will put this after the lesson for today, that image.
In Schoology, there's a test for Tuesday. Are we supposed to do that?
Just wait.
Later,
We may or may not get to it today. I'm gonna see how far we get, okay? That's why I'm saying don't do stuff ahead of time because we might not get to it because the test or the quiz is on the book that we're gonna read today. And if we don't get to it, well, I don't want you to do it. Does that make sense, you guys? So we're gonna try going faster, but as you're noticing, sometimes things get mixed up. So, how today we're going to focus on, we've got our main question, how does cultural beliefs and values guide people? And how does the conflict between the Nez Perce and the U.S. government reveal differing culture beliefs and values? And we're going to focus a little bit more on detail. What do you notice and wonder in Thunder Rolling on the Hills? And we are going to look at comparing and contrast paragraphs. Okay, so your big question today I want you to think about is, what do you notice and wonder in chapter 1 of Thunder Rolling on the Mountains? So we've talked about this today or before. Why is it important to notice and wonder? And some of you guys have said in the past that it helps you maybe learn better. Noticing, we know, means to observe, pay close attention. And we know that it is important to pay close attention to those specific words. Or, man, we even looked at like the images, or we looked at the map. And that might help us understand what's going on in the actual story. Okay? So we actually already respond to that. And what we're going to do is we are going to start reading Thunder Rolling on the Mountains. In the mountains. I got to say that right. So you should have the book open to chapter 1, or, nope, not chapter summary. You should have the PDF. Okay. I'm going to try opening the PDF for you just because I can remember. Okay, here's the PDF. If you are following along, I'm going to try to follow along here, but I'm going to read mostly in my story. This is not the best PDF, okay? But if this is what we've got, this is what we got. Please turn, ladies and gentlemen, to page 1. We're going to read chapter 1, and I want you just to think about, now, we can't write in these books, but if you have Post-it notes or like a bookmark, I would maybe do a piece of paper and use that. So for example, I'm going to put a Post-it note in my book. Number 1, it's going to be a good bookmark, but I can also write on that Post-it note. So as I notice and wonder, I'm going to write stuff on there. So everybody, find a piece of paper that could consist of a bookmark or a Post-it note, and I want you to write down at least one I notice or I wonder. If you've already done it, awesome. Because we already did do it a week and a half ago. If you are online,
What happened to me is that my notebook, I finished up one notebook and now I can't find, because I wrote it so long ago that it was in my other notebooks, and now I can't find that other notebook, so I have to do it again.
Yeah, well, hopefully, maybe you will remember it too. I like to write it down because otherwise I forget things. Okay? If you do it online, that's fine too, but I would just take a piece of paper. Okay? So as we read chapter 1, I want you to find either one I notice or I wonder. Just one at the moment. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it accurately, as we've been practicing, with expression and with the correct pauses. Don't worry, you will get lots of time to read. Is that your question, Riley? Is you wanted to read? I know. I usually start off reading, and then later on I have you guys read more and more. But I'm going to start off, okay? Just so that it's very clear, and all you have to do is I want you to follow along, okay? So I'm going to start reading. That day, we dug roots in Deer Meadow. Now, we were riding fast for home. There were 7 of us on good horses. I rode in the lead, pulling a travois filled with coo roots. We were on a trail of fallen trees and rock slides, but a storm was coming, and it was the shorter way to our village. I had not ridden the trail for many moons. It had changed a lot in that time. We came upon row after row of fallen trees too jumbled for the travois, and I was forced to go around them. We came to a treeless spur in the mountain, and north wind blew down from Hawk Peak. It was spring, but the peak was covered with snow, and the wind whipped the snow down upon us in wet clouds. It was hard to see the trail. I'm freezing, Little Lark, one of my cousins said. I think we should go back and take the long trail. The other 5 riders, 2 of my cousins among them, agreed with her. But the girls sat on their horses and said nothing. "There's no hurry about," Little Lark said. "We told our mothers before we left to dig roots that we would be gone 3 suns. The 3rd sun is somewhere in the mist. It will be above us when we reach home." I gave her my blanket, and we rode on and left the mountain spur. The trail dipped down out of the wind in a place of tall grass and winding stream. It was a beautiful meadow. I remembered riding it at the beginning of winter when the aspen trees had turned to gold. The aspen trees were gone. Their branches were lying around, but the trees were gone. They had been sawed off close to the ground. I saw smoke rising at the far end of the meadows. It came from a cabin made from the aspen trees. We pulled up our horses and started staring. The horses were nervous. They raised their heads and sniffed the air. We were more nervous than the horses. "What is it? Sound of running feet?" asked my friend White Feather. "The white people," I said. "Indians don't build cabins." Many times when our chieftains talked, I heard them speak of the white people. They had not set foot upon our land, only on the land that belonged to the part of our tribe, those who called themselves Christians, those who had sold their land to the Big Father, who lived in a faraway place called Washington. The white people were called settlers, and they came to plant seeds, but mostly to dig gold out of streams and rocks. I cautioned my cousins and the other girls to ride at a trot to keep their eyes to themselves. None of them had a weapon, but I carried a rifle. My grandfather, Old Joseph, had given it to me more than 6 snows ago as he lay dying. Until my 14th birthday, 3 months ago, it had hung in the lodge. Then I took it from its place, for I, Sound of Running Feet, was then a woman. In the short time I had learned to use it. At first, it was too heavy to lift, and I had to prop it up on a branch or on the horse's back before I could shoot. Now, I could handle it and shoot straight. My father did not like the rifle, but Old Joseph had given it to me. It would be bad to speak against the gift now that Old Joseph was dead. He could come back and make trouble. 3 children sat in the cabin doorway. When we rode by, they were quiet as mice when an owl was around. Our trail crossed the stream a short way beyond the cabin. A man and a woman, with their hair piled up on top of her head, stood in the stream up to their knees. The woman was shaking a copper pan, letting stream wash over it. The man kept filling the pan with dirt that a boy of our people brought him The man kept filling the pan with dirt that a boy of our people brought him in a shovel. The woman kept working when she caught sight of us, but the man stopped. He was tall and thin and had a scraggly beard and a small bald head. He said something I did not understand, which the boy changed into our words. "He wants to know how you are," the boy said. I paused, with others silent behind me, and did not answer his question. I said, "Ask the white man why he has built a cabin on lands that he does not own." The boy I knew about. He showed me Nimi-Poo tattoos on the back of his hands. He had gone to the mission school near the Snake River, at the Lapui, the place of the butterflies. His name was Storm Cloud, and he had been mixed up in a murder. I asked him again. He looked at me with anger in his gaze before he spoke to the white man. The white man said, and Storm Cloud changed his word, "You Nez Perce own too much land. You can't use all the land, not half of it, not even a tenth of the land. You're a greedy bunch." The whites called us Nez Perce, although that was not our name. They said it meant hole through the nose. None of our people ever put ornaments in their nose, but when the whites decided something was so, nothing could change their minds. All of us were angry. We glared at each other. Then the man warned us not to send our warriors to talk to him. "If you do, there will be trouble. My name is Jason Upright, and I have friends." I pressed my lips tight to hold back the words. Then I dug my heels into my pony's side, and we all rode through the stream across the meadow. There was a tall hillock at the bottom of the meadow covered with trees. As we came to the top, I jumped off my horse and took careful aim with my rifle at the pan Jason Upright's wife held in her hands. The shot made a big hole in the pan and tossed it high in the air. Our trail followed the winding stream and crossed it many times, so we had trouble with the travois piled high with spruce roots. We also came upon a bear, a grizzly bear, standing in the middle of the trail, eating berries from a juniper tree. He stretched up taller than I did, sitting on my horse. We waited at a distance until he had eaten all the berries he wanted. Yet we reached home before the wind swept down from the mountains. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, first I was going to ask you, who is telling the story here, and how do you know?
Sound of running feet.
Yeah. So what we told who, could somebody else tell me, how do you know?
Because she used the words I and me.
Yeah. She used that first person. Yep. Yes, so she uses first person. Is there any other clues?
Like in the story, one of the cousins or sisters or whatever, she asked like sound of running feet, and then it said like I said, which means that it was sound of running feet that did it.
Yeah.
Or that was the person telling the story.
Good clues, you guys. Okay, so you did not have to do this. I just said write one on a piece of paper, and you know what? I'm going to fill it in as you guys write. I have not looked.
I wrote down a lot of things.
Okay, could you guys, if you wrote down a lot of things, could you just give me one for now? Because I want everybody to have the opportunity to share if they have something. So, would somebody be, you know what? Yeah, we can use, why don't we use the chats? Because that will help me figure out. Greta, you still have your hand raised. Did you have something?
No.
Okay. Harper, did you have something? What did you notice or wonder?
Something I noticed is that she is like the leader of the group.
Okay,
she's kind of like telling them what to do.
Yeah, so I'm going to put her name in Memotechnica as an acronym. So sound of running feet is the current leader. Okay, does somebody else have anything different or something to add on to it? Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my Harper, you are the one that told me something. Anybody else? Raise your hand. That would probably be easiest at the moment. You know what? It looks like I'm going to have to. Oop. Okay, anything else?
I put down, I noticed that the Nez Perce boy was working for the white people, and the people that people came to get gold, and so that's why they went over there.
Okay, so the Nez Perce boy was working with the white people. Or the settlers, yep. Why did I write sound of S-O-R-F? So I don't have to write sound of running feet every single time. That's a lot to write. Yep, so sound of running feet is what this means. Ooh, they used a pan to look for gold. So they used a pan for gold. Okay, so like a little sifter. So if you think of your colanders that you do, like you strain spaghetti with, it's kind of like that, but they are smaller holes. Yep. And the settlers, I see somebody wrote, they were looking for gold. Hey, anything else? Ladies and gentlemen, I wonder, or characters.
I had wondered why she was mad at the white man, but then I found out the answer.
You know what? But at that time, you had that question. Why was sound of running feet mad at the white man? So, or the settlers. I'll just write the settlers today, right now. Okay. Ooh, what are some other things? You can also add, maybe you notice something about the characters. Actually, we already wrote some.
There's a character, sound of running feet, and also Feather, I think her name is, I forget her name, but there's another girl that speaks.
Yeah, so
and that little girl. Yeah, Little Lark.
Yep, we got Little Lark. We've got White Feather. We have the Settlers.
Stormboy, his name was? The person who worked for the white people?
Yeah, his name, Stormcloud.
Is Old Joseph a character, or does he not count because he's dead?
He does count. He's still a character. It was his grandfather, her grandfather, Old Joseph.
And there's also one called White Feather. It is her friend.
Yep, I got White Feather down. Thank you. Yeah, Old Joseph. Let's see. Was Old Joseph his? Oh yeah, it says my grandfather, Old Joseph. That's interesting to me that Old Joseph, her name is Sound of Running Feet and White Feather and Little Lark, but his name is Old Joseph. I wonder if
they usually name them after things.
Yeah, so Native Americans. So I wonder, let's write that down. That's actually a pretty big wonder. That's a big one. I wonder for me. So why is Old Joseph, why does he not have a native name?
Maybe a plant was called Old Joseph, or maybe they named a horse Old Joseph.
Actually, Joseph, the name Joseph is a very Christian name. It's very biblical. So if you look at the origin of Joseph, and the reason why I know a lot of origins of names is because when we were trying to figure out what my baby's name was going to be, they usually say if it was Greek or biblical, or if it was Italian or something like that. And Joseph is a very biblical name, so it's very based off the Bible. So
yeah, like Joseph in the whale.
Yeah.
I mean, no, that's Jonah.
Well, you've got Joseph in the multicolored dream coat and stuff, right? So I'm going to write this here. This might be important at maybe Joseph. Maybe he renounced. It could be that maybe he chose not to be. He got rid of his Native American name and he chose a Christian name. A lot of times that happened. So Joseph is very biblical. Okay, so it's very Christian. So maybe he chose a different name. Maybe he just
he might have changed his name because the Native Americans, they didn't really use rifles that much.
Yeah.
So the way that he got the rifle was he changed his name and went another way.
Yeah, maybe he was a part of the. Maybe he knew the white people a little bit more, to where her father. Ooh, that's another person. Her father was not very happy. Do we know what the father's name is?
I think it's Joseph.
Joseph was grandfather. It just says my father. So we've got Sound of Running Feet's father. Father. So, okay. Interesting. Does anybody have?
This is where actually he is Joseph, because it says through the eyes of Chief Joseph's daughter.
Oh.
So he's another Joseph.
Okay. Joseph. Good catch. Anybody else? So we can write Chief Joseph. Ooh, she's also the son of a chief then. Huh, I did not catch that. Sorry, somebody else did have something that they were going to say. Riley, yeah.
Wondered why her dad didn't really agree with her having the rifle.
So why didn't her dad
It just say why he didn't like the rifle. It didn't say why he didn't like for her to have it. It just says like why did he didn't like the rifle at all.
Yeah. Well, and if you think a little bit of her view, because she's explained that they are kind of angry with the settlers coming in, and rifles, they were brought over by the white people, right? Okay, so maybe it could be something, again, it's changing their customs. They didn't originally have rifles, so it's not the...
Wait. I'm starting to think that maybe her grandfather was a white person because his name is Christian, which sort of like that, and then he had a rifle, and it's sort of making me think that he might be.
He might have been one of the white people. Could be. A lot of times they did marry. I know, like myself, my great, let me think. I got one more great grandmother married a French fur trader. And so, yeah, they did often marry. But then that makes me wonder, do you think they would accept a chief? Somebody, if they're still very traditional? Because it sounds like they're pretty traditional still. Do you think they would accept somebody who was half at that time?
Maybe he was like adopted as like a young child into the into the Nimibu.
Those are some great predictions. I have no idea. I've never read this book before. So those are some really good predictions. I like it. Okay, so we kind of already did this. Beautiful. And we talked about it. And we just kind of wrote them together. Now, we kind of are starting to see this conflict, okay? So we've got a conflict between which two people? What would you say? Who would you say?
It's more of like the white people and the Native Americans.
Yeah, so
like the Nez Perce and the Christians, or if they're not Christians, like if I'm trying to be specific, they'd say the Ninipu and the Christians, but
yep. So right now, and you guys, and that's going to be the hardest part too. If you notice, I sometimes call them different things. If you notice, I call them Native Americans. I don't call them Indians, because Indians, because Christopher Columbus thought he came in India. So Indians isn't the correct word to use. So Native Americans is what you probably want to use. But yeah, we've got Nimipu, we've got the Nez Perce, but we found out, in the last page, that the Nez Perce actually isn't their original name. That means hole in their head, right? And that was a name given to them.
I think it was like hole in their nose, like nose pierce or something.
Yeah, you're right. Hole through the nose. So that actually wasn't their original name. That was something the European Americans gave them. So the white people, we'll call them the white people, because during this time, we didn't have a lot of African settlers. Those came in later through a lot of the slave market, where then we had the Civil War and stuff. You'll learn more about later. So this is before that. We had a lot of white European Americans. So we had a lot of people from Spain, England, a lot from England, a lot of French, especially in the northern area. So let me see if I can find a map of the immigrants to the United States. So this is why this takes us a lot longer, you guys, because man, we have Senior Worzinger goes off on different things. So if you look here, kind of in this map, we've got different times. And actually, what did we say the year was? 1887. Ooh, so this is actually pretty close. So right now, so these are some of the immigrants of where people came. So we had a lot of people from, I know in Minnesota, we had a lot of people from Germany and Sweden and Norway. Canada was French, a lot of French people. We had a lot of Ireland people. We had, yes, from the South, a lot of people from Mexico. A lot, not so much right now. I don't know if I would agree with this, China. But later on, yes, we had a lot of Chinese that moved in. But right now, we have a lot of European Americans. So a lot of people from France, and England, they moved in here, okay? So a lot of these people, and if you notice, even a year earlier, it says, so this one's probably a little bit more accurate. We have Ireland, a lot of people from Ireland. It does say we have some people from China, but a lot of them during this time were from Europe. And then as you can see, throughout time, so this is just 1 year different, a lot of it changes, okay? So, European Americans, or you can say the whites, okay? So, what we're going to do is I'm going to, actually, you know what? That's all we're going to get to today. What I want you to do is, we went to detail. You've got 10 minutes. And there is, apparently I did not assign it for today. Let me change that. I want you to do this quick focusing task 4, and I'm going to change it so that it shows today. I think this is what I want. I'm using resources from other people too, so if there's some complicated stuff, so I'm starting to learn some different things. Okay, so nope, I don't want you to do that. We're going to do that at the very end. What I want you to do today, actually, you know what? We talked about it. We're going to look at comparing and contrasting on Thursday. So this is going to take us a little bit of time. That's okay. Your homework for tonight, and you can actually work on it right now, is just like last week. You're going to have this handout. You're going to read this. The aspen trees were gone. The branches were lying about, but the trees were gone. You're going to read this and record your audio. When you're done, where did I link it? Page 2 down here. I don't know if you can see it. I might have to move it out. You will need to page 2 in Notability. Don't turn it in. Can't turn it in yet. And, oh, look, it's the same as last week, okay? But I want you to think about, we're going to read it 3 to 5 times this week, 4 times this week, actually. I want you to listen to it again when you're done, and I want you to see, did you accurately read the passage? Yes. Okay. Did you say the words correctly? So if you noticed, that's something that I was really trying to focus on when I was reading here. I was skipping around between my book and online, so I was really trying to read the words correctly. I didn't really pay attention. I did do some expression, but I tried to pay attention to some of the punctuation too. I really want you to start getting the accuracy correct, okay? So for homework, we're not going to do the compare and contrast paragraph. We're going to do that on Thursday. I want you to record your audio on it and then do page 2 of this fluency work, okay? And mark down. We're going to turn that in on Friday, though.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Have a great day.
Bye.
We'll see you